Hey BBWs, we're so excited to announce our first sponsor, Burn the Patriarchy Candles. Burn the Patriarchy's candles are handmade soy candles with a feminist agenda.
They are made in small batches, so they will sell out. The new fall line just dropped featuring 3 delightfully spooky scents.
You can buy these sweet little babies at www.burnthepatriarchycandleco.com. At checkout, enter the promo code BLOCKBUSTER to receive 10% off.
Again, that's www.burnthepatriarchycandleco.com, promo code BLOCKBUSTER. Thank you.
Bye.
Come with us where the corn is popped and the throwback Thursdays never stop. It's a magical land not far away. All you have to do is just press play.
So,
hop on the couch and close your eyes. Gonna party like it's 99. Join us, watch the movies of our lives with Blockbuster Eyes.
Welcome to Blockbuster Wives, where your two favorite 90s babies talk about movies from the era of a certain blue and yellow video rental store. I'm your host with the most late fees, Shea Baby.
And this is Stacy, not always kind, but always rewinds. And you're listening to Blockbuster Wives. Hello, and welcome to our latest installment of Brendan Folger.
Brendan Folger is the greatest time of year.
Yeah, though it doesn't feel too much like fall here in Vegas because it's still 90 degrees.
It did for like a week, when it was raining a lot and it was a little bit cooler, and I was like, what is this? The 70s, the 80s? And then all of a sudden, ring, 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 ring.
Yeah, today was hot AF.
Yeah. It really was, and I realized that I actually have like the opposite of most people's seasonal depression. So I'm actually more depressed in the summer because it's so hot.
Makes sense. It can be a little oppressive.
It is for me because I'm a big ass bitch and I sweat a lot, okay? And it's just not cute.
Thank God it's not humid though.
That's true. But like weirdly enough, humidity loves my body. My body loves humidity. They have a symbiotic relation.
But it doesn't make you super sweaty?
I don't know. I feel like I almost prefer humidity.
You're just like, hey, at least I'm wet from the humidity and not just my own sweat.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just like, it's almost like, you know what? I am sweating a lot, but at least my skin and hair has never looked better.
That is the bright side. Because I just say that because when I went to Austin with Chantal, I'm somebody who doesn't sweat a lot typically.
Right.
And going there was my experience of what it must feel like to be sweaty all the time. And I was like, yo, this blows.
Yeah, so that's me like all day.
Because I felt like I just had to take a shower like all day.
You know what? When we were in Chicago, it was humid. Did you feel humid at all or no?
No, but it was nowhere near the Austin levels.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. But
Austin was
even
next level.
But even then, you and I were like, let's take another shower.
That's true. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I need to shower again.
But I just feel like that all the time in the summer, and no matter if it's humid or not, and I don't know. I crave the winter months because I don't sweat as much, and I feel like when everyone else is layering up, I'm, usually in like a very light jacket and like a t-shirt, and I'm chill. Like you saw in Canada?
Well, in Canada, it was like sub-zero blizzard conditions and you were wearing a light jacket. And I was like, how?
It just feels so good. My body loves the cold. Like, my body really loves being cold.
Well, you have great circulation. So, like, your hands are, like, always warm and toasty.
That's true.
So, I think, it's like a little buffer. Whereas I have the worst circulation in the world.
Aww.
So, as soon as it gets cold, it's like, I'm on the verge of frostbite. I know it.
My beautiful cold
They're
wife.
gonna freeze up.
You do. Your hands get so... Well, most people I feel like that I know are all like, feel my hands. They're freezing. And I'm like, Jesus, did you just come from the crypt?
Fucking hot hands for real.
Yeah, like, I don't know what... My body is just very hot all the time. I'm just like... I'm like a heater.
Shout out to Hot Hands again. This is the second time they've come up on this podcast. And I would like for them to sponsor us. So please do.
Yeah, now that we have a sponsor, now we're just going to get more and more, baby.
Oh, yeah. You like that? The top of the app? We got sponsors now.
Did that feel nice?
It's very exciting because she's super cool. Her candles are sick. Like, please check out her Instagram. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's literally just at burn_the_patriarchy. all of her stuff is so dope, and you will not regret it, straight up. And I would say that even if we weren't being sponsored. So
Yeah, we actually reached out to her because we like her shit.
yeah, and she and I have been following each other for a few years just as homies. So like, you know, she's just really supportive and really cool, and like it's a woman-owned business, and
All things we love.
all things we love.
So if you think you check some of those boxes and want to get in on this, you let us know.
Yeah, holla at us. Or, you know, if you just have any other questions or whatevs, you can always hit us up. So, I mean, but you guys already know that. We don't have to go into the whole spiel, the whole rickety-doo of it all.
But Shay, your week's been kind of crazy because you started a new job, right?
I did. I'm yet again serving, y'all. Good times.
Serving looks.
Serving looks, serving cunt.
And delicious food.
And delicious
Not
bagel.
all together.
Just separate church and state. But yes. I like it. It's fun. It's been hectic because I'm also doing my side hustle of pet sitting, house sitting, cat sitting, dog sitting, and also
All the sitting. If you need something fucking sat, Shay's yo bitch.
If you need a sitting ass bitch, that's me. And also, I delivered my last couple batches of truffles too.
Oh my god, which I got, and they're so good. Sugar high truffles. Shout out. So delicious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My business is called Sugar High Truffles, y'all, and we're also a sponsor of the Blockbuster Wives.
Yeah, you're like us too. No promo code. Just buy those sweet truffs.
Yep. But yeah, no, the s'mores ones were pretty good.
Oh, they were so bomb.
That was my first time stuffing the ganache with something else, and I had a little mini marshmallow in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good, not gonna lie. But now I'm totally out. Y'all swipe me out, baby.
Yeah, you gotta jump on that shit if you want it.
Yeah, again, we also do small, and by we I mean me by myself and nobody else. I make small batches, so whenever I announce that my truffles are ready, you guys need to pounce, because yeah, they get sold out like hotcakes. But anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not even like a chocolate person, but I fucks with them heavy.
Thank you so much. Listen to my supportive ass, gorgeous wife. She's smart. She's sexy. She's hilarious. What else you got going on for us?
I'm trying to think. This past week, I've just been adding more stuff to the house. Got some sick nightstands.
Y'all need to see her house. It is the Willy Wonka of the 70s. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a magical fairyland, in my opinion.
You truly don't know what you're going to see around every corner, which I love.
Yeah, and I feel like there's lots of secrets in this house. I feel like one day you're going to knock on, one of these wooden planks, and all of a sudden some shit is going to pop out, and, gold is going to drip everywhere, and it's going to be amazing.
I mean, yeah, I would even take a skeleton if it also contained doubloons or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so grossed out by remains if they're accompanied by a sizable treasure. Like
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, basically that's my dream.
Oh my god. You know what? I can sense that with this house. It's very I don't know, I keep wanting to use the word magical. It's very magical, it's very whimsical. It has a lot of character.
It is the main character. That's what I tell people. I'm like, this house's character. I was like, oh honey, it is the main character.
Y'all, she has a jacuzzi inside of her house. Not a jacuzzi tub. It's a literal hot tub room inside of her house.
It's just
it's incredible. It is so amazing. I love it so much. It makes me so happy.
Me too. So most of my so it's I go to work and then I go home and then we work on house shit and then I pass out at 9 p.m. is a typical day. It's fun, but I'm also ready for it to be done.
Yeah, because it's very exhausting.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of furniture we need to get. But, slowly but surely. Yeah. Every day gets better because it's everything you accomplish kind of builds on it. So I'm like, okay, now we have 2 functioning bathrooms. That makes everything else a lot easier. Now we have a couch. That makes everything else a lot easier because we can fucking chill.
You can sit
exactly
somewhere.
Right. Whereas before in the beginning it was we have 1 bar stool and a mattress.
You're yeah, but we can sit on the floor, which honestly, this carpet, hella comfy.
True.
And downstairs in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And no,
there's so many places to sit on the floor.
Honestly, every space. No, but yeah, no, congrats again because it's amazing and you guys have done so much in such a short amount of time.
Thank you.
So, loves it.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's been my life. And, of course, watching sick movies with Brendan Fraser in them.
Of course. That's the most important part of our lives right now.
Shay told me, she's like, all right, I'm going to go watch my 2 Fraser movies this afternoon. And I was like, that sounds like a dream.
It was honestly lit. I can't remember. It was after work, right? One day I was like, I'm getting off work and now I'm just gonna watch 2.
Yeah, you were just off work, but I knew I had like an afternoon of work facing me down.
Right.
And she was like, I'm gonna go home and watch 2 Brendan Fraser movies, and I was like, I'm so jealous.
I know. That's the serving life for you. You. Like a lot of the time I'm working like 5-6 hours and then I'm like, all right. But you are like physically fucking exhausted.
True.
After the day. It is
I work
wild.
at desk yub, so I'm not doing a whole lot of moving and grooving.
I forgot how exhausting it was because today I got off work. I worked like a 5.5 hour shift, something like that. And I literally collapsed when I got back to the crib.
Do you have like a cool fainting couch that you can dramatically collapse on?
At the house that I am house sitting, yes, they have many a couch. There's like 4.
Perfect.
So
you like look around, you're like, that one. Hey.
I'm like, yeah, which way do I want to face east? All right. Yeah, no, it's nice. And then there's 3 gorgeous cats, my 2 nephews and my niece. Shout out.
Wait, I didn't know there was a 3rd cat.
You didn't?
I knew about Vinny and Claude. Who's the 3rd?
Oh my God, Charles.
Charles.
Dude, Charles is the man.
Wow.
Charles is my boy.
When did Charles come around?
Okay, so my oldest brother's best friend is going to seminary school, and Charles was his cat, Josh. You remember Josh?
Okay, I am remembering this faintly.
Yeah, so Josh was like, okay, I do not want to get rid of Charles, but I can't take him with me to, I think he's in Portland or, no, Seattle? Yeah. And so he was just like, who do I know? And then he remembered that, my brother and his lovely partner, Abby, have 2 cats already, and they love cats. And they
because Vinny and Claude happened around the same time, right?
Yeah, they got adopted at the same time as kittens because they were strays.
That's right. And then Charles came later.
Yeah, so Charles just came, I don't know, it feels like it's been forever, but I guess it's only been like a year and something.
But they're all homies.
They're all homies. I watched the moment where they were all like checking each other. Like Charles is older, he's much wiser, he's like the chillest fucking cat of all time.
Yes.
And he came in and he was just like, bruh, I come in peace, don't fuck with me.
He's like, cherry cordial, anyone?
Yeah, like he's like, Brandy Alexander. Yeah, no, but now they're all homies and they all have the zoomies together and they sleep together. They're so cute. I'm obsessed with them.
It's adorable.
But yeah, like having animals to cuddle with is so nice because as you know, Bugsy, my dog, never does. He hates cuddling. He hates any amount of physical contact for longer than like 30 seconds.
And that makes it worse because nothing is worse if you're trying to cuddle an animal and it's not fucking with you. It's like an extra insult.
It is, especially for me. I'm a fucking sensitive ass bitch.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, remember I take you for walks, I let you outside, I feed you, I clothe you.
And all I want is a cuddle and nothing.
I'm like, just lay with me in bed. Is that too much to ask? And he's like, yes. I'm like, fuck you.
He's like,
No.
Laters.
But you know what? He's a quirky baby, and I love him very much, and it's whatevs.
You know, some dogs are into it, some dogs are not. My dog's very into it.
I was going to say, I have Rumi to cuddle with.
Mm-hmm. That dog loves cuddling.
She sure does. And so does Charles. Charles loves cuddle. Every time I'm over there, he finds some way of like jumping on my back, jumping on my chest. He sleeps with me. He's so sweet. I love him.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, are we ready?
I'm ready.
For the third and final installment of Brendan Falger.
Yes, and I feel like we're ending Brendan Falger with the pinnacle of Brendan Fraser because is there any other movie that showcases his talents like Bedazzled?
Bedazzled, baby. 0% no, because he plays like 17 characters.
Yeah.
And he really like exercises that muscle,
so
that
many
acting muscle,
muscles.
baby.
Well, should I start with a little synopsis and corporate bullshit?
I would love that. I would love nothing more.
Okay, so the synopsis, which, by the way, we don't plan these out ahead of time, so these are always off the dome.
Yep.
Sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. We'll see how this one goes.
You got this.
So the basic plot of Bedazzled is that uber nerd Elliot is like low-key stalking this lady he works with. Mm-hmm. But he's such a nerd that he can't work up the courage to talk to her. But then one day he runs into the devil,
dun, dun, dun.
who is a sexy motherfucker.
Hey.
And she offers him 7 wishes in exchange for his soul. So he's like, okay, I really want this lady, so let's do it. And so he keeps making wishes, and oh my gosh, surprise, they keep going wrong. along, and then he, you know, gets older, wiser, more hip, and cool as the movie progresses. Should I ruin the ending?
Yeah.
Okay, so like all the wishes keep going wrong, and then he realizes the devil has tricked him into getting one less wish than he thought, because when he first met her, he was like, "Oh, I wish for a hamburger," and she's like, "Okay," and then they like took the bus and he paid for it, and she still considered that a wish. What
So
a tricky
fucked.
bitch. So anyway, so he's like panicking and realizing he only has one wish left. He's gonna try not to make the wish, and she's like, "I'm not fucking stupid. Like, I will kill you if you don't." And then in his panic, he wishes for the lady he's been stalking to have a happy life. And she's like, fuck, because making one truly selfless wish voids the contract. So he got to have all that fun and live all those fun wishes out. And the lady he was stalking got to be happy. And then he found another lady who looks just like her to be his partner.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about what you want. It's about what you need. Sometimes you don't get what you want because you get what you need later. You know what I'm saying?
It is kind of funny that she looks exactly the same.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the only basis for him liking the first chick.
Right.
Because he didn't know her.
At all, literally. The only thing he knew about her was what? He mentioned it. He was like, I know that she likes her bagels buttered but not toasted.
I was so disturbed during that scene. I was like, bruh, how do you know that? She
know.
has no idea who you are.
I know. It's supposed to be cute, but it's literally not. It's
That was
very
like
scary.
a popular trope during the Blockbuster era, and
You're
it's
so
like
right.
not cool.
No, it's disgusting. And I've experienced shit like that before. I'm sure we all have it in some way or another, and it's not cute when you're experiencing it. It's very fucking scary.
Yeah, you're like, you could have just talked to me. This is weird.
Especially like, you know, some of you may know this. I do like some modeling shit on IG. I've had an OnlyFans before, etc. And so it's odd when you do have some sort of presence on the internet where people like feel like they know you. And it's, I don't know, it can be a little odd, specifically with men.
But even that, like, at least you know that's how they know you.
That's true.
This chick, like, is just living her life going to work, and unbeknownst to her, Creepy Elliot is like watching how she likes her bagels and is like obsessing over her for
and has never talked to her except for that one time.
He keeps saying like 3 or 4 years we've worked together. Yikes.
Yeah, and he remembered the exact date. He's like, "Oh, it was June, blah blah blah, when you said it like it was raining," and I said, "Yeah, it was really wet outside."
Yeah, like you could cut this movie into a horror movie preview
Oh my God.
easily. Like it would not be hard because that whole conversation is so cringe.
You're so right.
Because, yeah, let me probably in context if you haven't seen it, which you should. So, back when we're in, like, Elliot's a geek establishing shots, it's honestly, like, very painful.
It really is so hard to watch.
It really, you know what? Let's do corporate bullshit before we get to
Okay, yeah.
Because
Okay.
otherwise I'm going to describe the whole movie.
Me
and
too.
you all want to know the cool facts and figures.
Of course.
To update your portfolios or whatever you do.
Your Blockbuster Wives portfolio?
Yeah, for those playing fantasy Blockbuster Wives. At home.
Stacy's
which
now a
doesn't
sporty
exist.
spice, you guys.
I'm obsessed with fantasy football now. It's bad.
She loves it.
Email me for your hot picks. Okay. So, Bedazzled came out October 20th, 2000. So it was a Halloween film.
Ooh.
Which makes sense because, like, the devil is one of the stars.
And so many, like, different costumes and stuff. That makes sense.
There's so many costume changes. It was directed by Harold Ramos, who directed Caddyshack. And he is also the glasses guy in Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's
so he
him?
is an actor-director.
Oh, he's really cute.
Really cool.
Wait
the
a
movie
minute.
stars Brendan Fraser,
Yeah.
and Elizabeth Hurley. She plays the devil.
Yeah.
I didn't write down who plays Allison the Stocky. My bad.
The weird Madonna accent ass bitch.
Yes, and she looks like Mariah Carey to me.
She hella does with her like honey colored hair.
Yes,
and-
especially in the beach scene where she's like, Elliot.
oh my god, with like her curly hair.
Yes.
Oh my
it
god,
was
you're
like
so
fucking
right.
Mariah. It is 93 minutes long. We love it.
So close to perfect.
We love it. It cost $48 million,
Wowza.
which I think must have just been like cost to the actors because there's not a whole lot of special effects or like crazy sets.
No, I would say probably the most elaborate set was probably most likely the Colombian drug lord.
Yeah. And like that's
Escape.
okay action scene, but like very clearly green screen too. So
Totally.
it's like
Yeah, and a lot of exactly.
But it boxed 90 million, so
Okay.
pretty much doubled. Very
Double.
successful.
Loves it.
It was rated PG-13 because it's like a little sexual.
It was.
But again, I fully watched this as a child when it came out, and I was obsessed with it.
Yep.
It was based on another movie from the 60s that I've never seen by the same name, so it's considered a remake.
Mm-hmm.
The man played a devil in that one, though.
Yeah, and didn't he have like a name? Like he wasn't called the devil. He was called like George something.
Yeah, something like that.
So odd.
But then he had like a shorty sidekick representing lust. So it was very weird.
That's interesting.
I haven't seen it, but
me neither.
there's no way it's better than this.
No,
sorry.
0%.
The Rotten Tomato score. 2 stars.
What?
Possibly our lowest rated Ebert selection.
I can't believe that.
Oh, wait, sorry. Did I just say Rotten Tomatoes and then 2 stars?
Yeah.
Okay, I meant the Ebert score, Roger Ebert.
2
My
stars.
bad. I don't know what he got on Rotten Tomatoes. But Roger Ebert gave this movie 2 stars. And he seemed really bothered that Hurley wasn't evil or zany enough. Like, he just kept going back to, like, Elizabeth Hurley is not doing what I want her to do as the devil.
Interesting.
I think he wanted her to be more evil or like more crazy. I thought she nailed it.
I think she nailed it too, because I think that's how she would get people on her side, by not being so overly evil, you know?
Yes. And I do love how she's like actually pretty nice. She's just like fucking with him.
Right.
Until the very end when he tries to like go back on his wish, and then she's like, let me slip into something more terrifying. And then she's like, ah!
Yeah. And then she called it like the Universal Studios experience.
Yes. And then she's like, I will kill you. And that's when he's like, okay, sorry. But even then it's like pretty funny.
I think it was perfect. I think it was a perfect depiction. And also, like, the devil gets a bad rep, people, okay?
Yes.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, sticking up for the devil. You heard it here first.
I'm a witch, you guys. And that's coming from someone who's very scared of The Exorcist.
Okay, but now that we've got corporate bullshit done, back to the opening establishing scene that Elliot is a huge nerd.
Yes, okay, here we go.
So he's trying so hard to hang out with his friends at work, and they're like, it's so sad because he is annoying.
He's so
like,
annoying.
I get why they don't want to hang out with him. He's fucking annoying.
And you know what? I feel like I've known a lot of these, because I've worked in a lot of corporate environments. I know you have too. And I feel like there's people that are just eager beaver because they're so insecure. So they're like overly, like we were saying, like eager beaver, very like making jokes that are just like fucking chill, dude. Like, but if you actually if any of them sat with him one-on-one and like actually said like, dude, you're kind of like
too much.
We know that this isn't your real personality. Like, let's just talk. Like, if they took like 10 minutes to actually talk to him one-on-one and weren't making fun of him or being mean, I'm sure he would have chilled out.
Yeah, let's do some breathing exercises, bro. Let's just bring down that
some
intensity.
Fucking weed.
Everything's fine.
Straight up. I really think if they took the time to talk to him, but I understand that sometimes you're like, this is too much. I can't handle you.
Yeah, I know we also feel like the whole, like, your work family is your family. Like, corporations try to be like, we don't fuck with that. So, like, totally. I also get why they might be like, you know what, dude, I'm trying to work and, like, I'm trying to go home. So, like, leave me alone.
Totally. But they do all hang out after work.
Yeah, there's a very like sad scene where he keeps asking everybody, like, what are we doing after work? And they're like, I'm busy, nothing. And then they both end up going to the same bar. And he's like, oh, interesting to find you guys here. But then he, like, sits at their table. So I'm like, that's a bold move for people who clearly don't want to hang out with you.
I feel like I've been in some of those situations, like in high school or whatever, where someone was trying to hang out and we're all saying, like, no, we're not, you know, and then I just feel like I've been in both situations before, but I would never have sat with the people. You know what I mean?
No, like it's really awful and sad, but like to then like keep on inserting yourself.
I know.
And be like, I'm here. Like, oh,
like, read the room,
it's
babes.
Even worse.
They don't
like,
want you there, but that's the sign of someone being like extra lonely and not reading the room, which he clearly wasn't with all the Allison bullshit that he was doing. So.
Yeah, and he's like excessively awkward. But then so they're all at the bar. He's like, oh, like, we're glad to see you guys. And then Allison walks in and he's like, oh, and he has like this weird, like, I'm obsessed speech. And they're like, okay, well, if you're like so into her, go up and talk to her. And he's like, and like, she doesn't know who you are at all, does she? And he's like, no, we've worked together for 3 or 4 years. She knows who I am.
Like, I'll catch up with her later, he says.
Ugh. And then he goes to talk to her, and she's like, I have no idea who you are. And then he recounts this creepy rain scene that Shea mentioned, and it's like, ring, ring, ring.
It's scary. It's sad. It's sad and scary.
And then she leaves.
Yeah,
She
she's just
leaves
like, and then just
without getting
basically
a
bolts.
single thing. I was like, oh, that's bad. Like, you scared her fully out of the bar.
Yeah, it's completely fucked. It's
not
completely
good.
fucked. And then he sits at the bar and he's just like, God. He says God. He's like, God.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
And I have a theory about this later on.
Oh.
But he says, God, please, like, I don't know, make her fall in love with me, or please, like, bring me closer to her, some shit like that. And then immediately, all of a sudden, there is a 8-ball that shoots down, hits him in the foot, and he's like, huh? So he picks it up, and he looks up, and there's this hot-ass, beautiful woman standing by the pool table in a red dress, just being like, and
smoldering.
yeah, she's so, like, smoldering, and she, like, takes her finger and wags him over, and he's just like, what the fuck? And he, like, flies over to her, basically floats on a cloud. And yeah, it's Elizabeth Hurley,
And
a.k.a.
she's amazing. And she's pretty, like, upfront. Like, she tells them within, like, I don't know,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, like, I'm the devil, and here's the deal.
Yep.
And he, of course, doesn't believe her. And then
Of
she has
course.
to do all these fun little stunts to be like, I'm the devil.
Like, changing outfits and, you know, just being the devil. Being very, I don't know, clever, funny, witty,
Sexy.
sexy. And then she's like, anything you want, anything, and I will bring it to you so I could show you that I am the devil. And he's like, I'll take a Big Mac and a large Coke. And she's like, done. And a city bus shows up, and they take the bus to McDonald's. He orders his order, and then she's like, oh, can you cover this? I left my purse in the underworld. So he has to pay. They took the bus and he paid to get this McDonald's. And then she's like, see, what did I tell you? I got it for you. And he's like, what? I did this myself? Like, I don't believe yo ass.
And then after that, she takes him to, like, her sick ass club, right?
Yeah, she's like, fine, I'll give you a lift back to your car. And she drives a Lamborghini Diablo, LOL.
Get it?
And then she takes him to her after hours club where everyone knows his name.
And it's, like, obviously, like, it's so smart because the opening sequence established, like, this guy has no friends and nobody likes him. So she shows him a place where everyone's super cool and obsessed with him. And he's like, wow.
He's famous and people are wanting to take pictures with him and people are, like, calling out his name and women are, like, flocking to him and being like, dance with me.
Exactly. And then he's starting to crack, but he's still not ready to crack.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, you should sell your soul to me for her 7 wishes. And I love it because she says something like, oh, like, what do you even want with your soul? Like, you don't even know it's there. And he asks, well, if it's so worthless, why do you want it? And she just goes, oh, clever boy.
Yeah,
but she
she's
doesn't
like, "Ooh,
answer
you're a
him.
clever
Yeah. And you don't really ever find out, like, why the devil would be interested in souls so much. And it doesn't try to explain it, but I thought that was fine.
No, she kind of just, like, she's like, oh, aren't you clever? Anyways. And it's just like, wait, you're not answering? Okay.
But then she pulls out her ace in the hole, which is a video of Allison, like, running on the beach being like, Elliot. And she's making out with this mysterious long-haired man.
He's like, why are you showing me this?
And then he turns around and it's him. And he's like,
And he looks like
"Oh
fucking
my
Fabio.
God." Yeah, I was like, we're back to long-haired Frasier.
Who's so hot.
Like, I feel like
Beyond.
Brendan Fraser has to have long hair in every film he does at some point.
Yeah.
We saw it in The Mummy.
Yeah.
We saw it in George of the Jungle.
The whole time.
We saw it in this film.
Yep. Period.
Briefly, but it's there.
Yeah. And he looks super bangable in all 3
Mm-hmm.
movies in every scene. There you go.
But I feel like he's definitely most likable in this role, even with his weird nerdy stalker tendencies.
Me too, especially, like, we'll obviously get to it towards the end, but towards the end he really becomes very chilled out. Like, he's
Yes.
starting to become more of himself because he has an actual friend who's, like, listening to him, and he
Yes.
doesn't have to, like, put on a performance all the time.
Oh my gosh, it's probably the longest he's ever talked to a woman before.
Yes.
And like and she's very sexual, but it's also like she is being his friend at the same time.
Totally. She's, like, looking out for him, listening to what he needs. They're making jokes back and forth. You know.
And yeah, she's fucking up his wishes, but that's all part of the learning experience.
And that's also, like, well, it's the devil. She has to play a little game.
Yeah, she can't
with
be
him, you know?
perfect.
She can't give him everything he wants.
Right?
But yeah. So then she's like, sign the contract. And so he does. And then she's like, perfect. Now let's get to the wishes.
Yeah, she's like quick. Like, I forgot like how quick all the wishes go. This whole movie takes place in like, I don't know, a day?
Yep. I would say like
maybe 2 days.
maybe 2 days.
Yeah, because he does stay overnight in the jail. More on that later. But I think it's like 2 days. It's very quick.
Yep.
And his first wish, he wishes to be rich and powerful, and that's it. No other details.
And married to Allison.
But he didn't say anything about love.
And she's like, perfect. And then, boom, he wakes up in bed, and he looks over, and he sees Allison laying there with, like, long black hair asleep, and he looks at his hand, and there's a ring on his finger, and he's like, yes! And then he, like, walks around, and he realizes he's in a fucking giant-ass mansion, speaking only in Spanish, which, by the way,
such a hilarious scene.
So cool. He's like, sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And he's saying it like fully.
He's like, lo siento, no hablando español.
And he's like,
yo hablando español.
And then he's like, wow, if my Spanish teacher could hear me now. It's so amazing.
He's so good in the role because he's just like, like he's so excited.
He's just so excited. He's so cute. This one is like, this wish, I think he's so adorable.
He really is. Because as the wish progresses, you realize that Allison fucking hates him.
They're married,
and is having an affair with her tutor, Raul. And like, Raul. And at one point he gets mad and he rips off his mustache.
Dude,
and then he's
I wrote that. It looks so real. Like the skin underneath all the little holes. Yeah. It's so, oh my God. No, this scene was so, like, I just loved this whole wish. The mansion is fucking incredible.
It's so cool.
But anyway, as time moves on, you realize that he's a Colombian drug lord.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so rich. That's why he lives in a giant-ass mansion. And,
and the devil gave him a little beeper to call her if the wishes aren't going well. So, like, there's this big shootout scene, and he's, like, on a helicopter, and everything's exploding. And as he's falling, he has to type in 666 into this beeper.
Yep. So he does, and then he gets shot right back over to her in real life, and he's like, hey, you made her hate me. Like, I didn't know I was going to be a Colombian drug lord. And she's like, I'm sorry, it didn't go out as planned. And then she's like, next wish. So she's very tactful and very, she's still, like, enticing. Like, she's still like, oh, I'm sorry.
Like, oh,
that wasn't my fault, but let's move on to the next wish,
like, I guess I'm not very good at this.
Yeah. She's amazing. I love
this
her.
movie also does something that I love when movies do, and it's when the same few people keep playing different roles, but it's the same actors.
Yes.
So, like, in each wish are 3 of his coworkers, like, just dressed up as different people and stuff, and I just love it.
The ones that were all making fun of him. Yeah, so, like, we have to shout those people out, too, because, like, we don't know their names. But shout out to y'all, too, because your acting chops are, so good. Like everyone...
they're, like, the drug lord's assistants. And
they all had different accents in every single scene. They all had completely different looks. They all had completely different personality. Like, they did such a good job. They were amazing. Including Allison.
Yes, Allison's also playing many different women.
I'm confused about her, like, real accent, though. She has a very, like... She's speaking in an American accent, but there's also, like, she also sounds British, like, a lot.
Yeah, and you don't really get to hear her speaking very much at all. This movie does not pass the Bechdel test at all.
0%.
What is she? Yeah, there's really only, like, she has, like, 3 lines, and she kind of talks like this and all of that.
But she talks like that, but then she'll be like, thank you. Like, she'll, like, thank you. Like, it's almost British, and you're like, wait, what? And then she goes back. I'm like, what is happening? But anyway, yeah, no, they're sick. So the next wish he makes is that he is, they go to her room. Because she's like, why don't we find out more about what she wants? So they go to her room.
Which is a great suggestion.
Yeah.
But the way they do it is shiesty.
And she's like, take a peek at her naked body while she's showering? What
Yes. And at first she's like, no. And then he's like, I'll do it. But then she's already got her towel on.
Exactly.
God. Which, again, if she ever found this out.
But then she opens up her towel and he sees.
So. But then Elizabeth Hurley's like, read her diary.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up, but they do. And she's like, I wish I had a sensitive man. And so Brendan Fraser wishes to be the most sensitive man on the planet. And this one might be my favorite wish.
It's amazing.
Because I quote a line from it all the time.
Is it the song?
No.
Okay. I love that song.
What are the lyrics to the song?
Huh?
What are the lyrics to the song?
He goes, going through the waves, let me know among the waves. Dolphin, dolphin, I adore everything you are. And the whole time he's playing guitar, you're so much more than a fish to me, my playful friend beneath the sea. It makes me die.
I love it so much. So like, yeah, you open it on the scene, and Brendan Fraser's like this cute little cable knit sweater and like this sandy red hair. And he's on the beach with Allison, and he keeps crying at the sunset. And like every time he looks at the sunset, he starts crying.
Every time.
And this is the line that I quote all the time. He goes, "What is that damn thing gonna set?
What is that damn thing gonna set?" And he says
so anytime
so
the
funny.
sun is in my eyes, I'm like, "What is that damn thing gonna set?"
I love. Okay, not that triggered is the wrong word, but like a lot of his personality and a lot of who he is reminds me of my ex. Like how sensitive was.
Gotcha.
Like just the sketching and like looking at the sunset and crying and being like, I see something like reflection in your eyes, just like speaking in like sonnets all the time.
Yeah, and she's like literally just trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Honey, no, I must sing you a song."
Yeah, he's like, and she's like, "Can I please just fucking talk to you, bro? Like, let me."
She's like, "We've been here for 3 weeks."
Yeah, yeah, because that was the other thing. He said that he wished that he was the most sensitive man in the world and that Allison was in love with him.
True.
Those were like the only 2 things he said about that wish. Then a bunch of like tough dudes came by and were like kicking sand.
AKA the coworkers.
Yeah, the coworkers
like disguised
again.
as other people.
They were kicking sand in his face and he's just like, can you take your horseplay somewhere else?
He's like, "I'm gonna have to ask you fellas to take your horseplay further down the beach."
What a fucking nerd.
And then they just kick sand in his face again.
Yeah, and then one of the dudes is like, "Do you want to grab a beer?" to Allison, and she's like, "Sure." And
he's like, "What?"
He's like, "Allison," he's like, I respect that you're your own person with your own needs, and if you want to go with our new friends to have a drink, I'm not gonna step in your way." She's like, "Great, bye." And
she's
he's like, "What?" And then he like goes on his knees and he like grabs her and he's just like, "Why are you leaving me? Why don't you love me?" And she just tells him, "You're too fucking sensitive for
she's
me,
like,
bro."
"God knows I love you, but it's too much."
Yeah, which like understandable, honestly. And she's like, "I just want a man who doesn't give a shit about me and takes me for granted and only does this, that, and the other so he can get into my pants." And then she leaves with the guy. And then I was going to say Brendan. Elliot's like, "I can get into your pants." It's so amazing. It makes me laugh.
It's adorable.
It
and then
is.
they like flash back to Elizabeth Hurley, and she's like, "I guess women don't know what they want," which I'm like, okay, like another annoying
Typical
2000s trope being like, "Well, bitches are crazy.
Yeah, bitches be crazy.
They say they want a sensitive guy, but they also want a dickhead." Meh.
Yeah, well, it's because Elliot's like, "I'm learning that women don't know what they want," and she's like, "Oh, amen." And I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. We do. We just don't want all of what we don't want. 100% sensitive, 100% drug lord who could be an asshole. Who knows? We're like,
women only want Raul.
yeah, we only want Raul and guys who will like rail us on the beach. Okay, so
Okay,
chill.
it's not that complicated.
Really not. It's really not. It's very simple. Okay. So then he's like, "Okay, I want to be tough and I want to be tall and I want to be successful and rich and I want to be famous."
Yeah, he's like, "I want to be adored by everybody," or
oh
whatever.
yeah, about something that I love or something.
Yes.
And she's like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And then boom, she turns him into a famous basketball player.
Oh God, and he's so funny. I don't know what the costuming is an interesting choice. I don't know if there was like a basketball player that looked like this, but they gave him this like wild bleached hair and like goatee and gave him like this thick Texas accent.
Yeah,
It's, like, very
it's like a weird
strange.
combination of things.
I don't know if it's supposed to be like Larry Bird, maybe. I don't know, but I was like, this is an odd choice, but
Yeah, because they gave him like a high top.
yes,
haircut,
like
but
he's
it was-
super strange looking.
It was very odd.
It's
but
not like most basketball players you see. That's why I'm like,
No.
this is odd.
No, but he was very charming as this character. Like,
Yeah, and he's like 6'9" or something ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
he's so tall.
he's a giant. You know, it reminded me. There was one time on IG, this semi-professional basketball player was hitting me up. He was 7'3".
Yo.
7'3".
Holy. Sounds painful, honestly.
That's why I was like,
I think your bones would hurt.
yeah, no. We didn't end up meeting up or anything, so I was like, eh. But 7'3". I could not believe I was even talking to someone that was that tall. Fucking wild.
They would have a hard time in this house.
Yeah.
This is a low ceiling, short king palace I'm living in.
They would have to crawl on hands and knees
Oh,
the whole
God,
fucking
so creepy.
Honestly, like, hello.
Truly a Great Dane.
Yeah, yes. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, no. But he was like really, really tall in this character, and he is, you know, not the most intelligent of beings necessarily.
But it's actually is another line I still quote a lot. Where he goes, "You just gotta get out there, give it 110%," and he just keeps saying, "We just gave it 110%. You want to play good? You hope you play good." And I think we play pretty good. Like he just keeps saying
I
that
played
over
pretty good
and over
tonight.
again.
He has a whole script in his mind that when anyone says anything to him, that's exactly what he says, no matter what. Which I feel like that's kind of how I see sports, because I'm just like, I don't understand them at
They
all.
really all do. Like, that's the funny part. Is like, athletes really do just say shit like that. Like, they all say variations of the same, like, boring shit.
Right. I love that they kind of, like, nudged at that, you know, because that's what I've seen. And from a place of someone who's not a sporty spice, I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like I've seen that interview a bunch of times.
Exactly. And the other funny joke happening during this interview he's doing with the sports reporter is he's like sweating so much, and like every time the camera cuts back to him, he's like sweating more until it's just like rivers running down his face.
I straight up wrote sweat scene, literally me. That's me that's me during the summer. That's why I love winter so much, you guys, because I actually feel like free and I'm not fucking drowning over it.
Ooh.
And then I also so then he goes back to the locker room after the game that he wins, right?
Yes.
And then Allison is actually a news reporter, so she goes back and she's just like, she's basically alluding to the fact that she wants to see his big dick. That's like literally what
she
it
makes
is.
it very obvious.
Very obvious. And then he's like, you want to go back to my place and see my bottle cap collection? And she's like, sure. And he's like, perfect, let me just get dressed. And she's like, can't wait. And she's just like staring at his fucking dick.
She's the assaulter.
Yo, yeah. So then he's like, okay. So he like opens up his towel, and then she screams literally and covers her mouth. And then he looks down and he's like, what the hell? Because he realizes he has a teeny peeny.
And he goes, damn
Or he
the
calls
devil.
it a winky.
Damn the devil to hell.
I wrote that in here too, because that's something I say all the time. Damn the devil. Damn the devil to hell.
Come on. Oh, it's so funny.
And then she basically is just like, I have a huge story to work on with the NFL, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, she's
I'm
like, it's just a little tiny thing I gotta do.
I'm like, this bitch.
Yeah, she's shallow as fuck.
She's very shallow. We all know it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's like truly a micropeen.
Mabes, but even then you can make it work, you know?
That's right. There's prosthetics.
Exactly. Shit is sick.
Yeah, she's shallow. So he's like, oh no, and like calls the devil back again. And he's like, you gave me a teeny tiny winky.
You teeny tiny winky. And then I think the next one after that is he wants to be sophisticated, and he wants to know everything about everything, and he wants to be wealthy, and he wants to be I can't remember what else
He's like
he said.
super smart guy.
Yeah, basically like an intellectual king. So then she's like, okay, perfect. And he said he wanted to be really good looking, which in this scene he just looks like himself with like super glossy hair and
right,
like a
and
suit.
like a nice snappy suit.
But he's so hot. And so he like turns around all like dumb and like, oh, and he like walks around like, hello.
A beautiful apartment where there's like rich people partying.
Oh yeah. So again, you see all of the characters from, you know, his coworkers. They're all different characters in this. And Allison is just like a party goer, and she sees him from across the room, and she's like, is that? And I can't remember his name, but basically he's a famous author. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh my God, I must talk to him.
Yeah, and everyone at this party is British for some reason.
Yeah, like they have weird, not British, but
like transatlantic weirdness.
Right, transatlantic, yeah. Except for Elliot. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's
Everyone
pretty
else
American.
So, so then Allison and him really hit it off. They're talking and they're making jokes that I literally do not understand, because they're just like so over my head that they're like
But he's like truly like seducing her with science, and she is into it.
Yeah, I love how he's just like nerve endings, lips, hands.
Doesn't he say clitoris?
He says clitoris, he says penis, he says tongue, he says boo. So yeah, I never heard the clitoris or penis part before, but she's just like standing there and he's like, yes, all these little molecules that blah, blah, blah. And she's like, eh. And then then she's like, let's go back to your place. Or however she talks, because she's so, like, it literally annoys me so much. I can't even.
Who are you? Yeah.
I can't handle it. It's because I can't figure her out. I can't figure out what accent she actually has. Anyway, so they go back to his apartment, and it's like bougie, and there's like statues everywhere, and it's very like museum-esque.
And they're both like kind of drunk and giggling.
Yeah, and he like lifts her up, and he takes her into his bedroom, and then light comes on, and it's his lover, who's a man.
Mm-hmm.
And
hold on, I'm gonna pause 1 second because I feel like I just heard the air conditioning come on.
Oh, okay. It says off.
Weird. What does that sound? It's probably the other machine. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, lights turn on, and then his lover pops out of bed.
Yep. And he's just like,
who is she?
Yeah, he's basically like, what the fuck are you doing? And Elliot's like, oh, no. And she's like, I'm gonna leave. And he's like, no, I'm not gay. And then she's like, his lover was like, oh, really? Who's in the Broadway cast of blah, 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 blah? And then he starts naming names off the top of the dome. And then he's like, I am gay, which is also like, that doesn't mean you're fucking gay. But in 2001, I guess that's what makes you gay. And then he's like, I will prove to you right now that I'm not gay. Kiss me. And then his lover is just like, this is pathetic.
This is just pathetic.
So then they kiss for a split second, and then like the music goes, and then he's like, I'm gay.
And she's like, yep.
And then they just do a nice little handshake, and she leaves. And then
his lover's like, this always happens when you get drunk.
He's like, like that one time when you had too many Brandy Alexanders. And then he just like presses 666, and boom.
Which back. I'm like, this would be a sick life. Like, honestly, lean in. Like, try this life a little bit more, Elliot.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that a little bit. That'd be nice.
You definitely seem to be enjoying this wish the most.
I think so. It seemed kind of... And that's the other thing too. I feel like, not that I don't know. I do like the theme of the movie, and I like the message of it. Like, no matter how many wishes you make, something could go wrong. Nothing's perfect. You can't just like wish and wish and wish and get what you want in life, because that's not the way it works. However, I feel like this one would have been really cool, and he could have gone back to the devil and been like, okay, I want that exactly. But, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that Ebert takes issue with. He's like, he doesn't even, like, try once to, like, outsmart the devil or ask for the same thing with whatever fixed. Or be like, you're the devil. You know what I want. Give me what would make me truly happy. He doesn't. He's just, like, keeps making the same stupid mistakes.
Yeah, but I guess there would be no plot if it was like...
Very true.
If he like outsmarted the devil.
Yeah, and he certainly does not learn anything, because then in his next wish, he just says, I want to be the president of the United States. And then that's it.
That's so noble. And I'm like, no, it's literally not.
Yeah, he's like, I want to help people. And then he's like, the president. I was like, are you high?
I'm like, bruh, give people money. Yeah, like, what is wrong with you?
Especially at this time when it was like George Bush.
2001.
Like, we were pre 9/11. No, it was 2000.
Oh, I thought it was 2001. My bad.
Oh, I thought it was no, I'm not sure.
I
put 2000, but
oh, well, you're probably
okay.
Right.
But yeah, so pre 9/11. So like, but still, it's just like, yeah, Clinton wasn't helping a lot of people either. So it's like, why?
No, but why is like, I'll be the president. That's so noble. I'm like, no, the fuck, it's not. You wanna be seen as powerful. Like, that's not noble, dude.
Then it's like poof, and then you realize that he is fucking Abraham Lincoln, and he's like,
well,
yeah,
and he's at the theater,
and then these things are starting to click, and he's like, oh no, I'm sorry, what are we doing tonight? We're seeing a play.
He's like, I've already seen that, and she's like, that's impossible, sir. And he's just like, fuck.
And then he's like digging around for his beeper, and he can't find it, and then finally he realizes it's in his shoe, and then John Wilkes Booth comes up to shoot him, and he's like, hold on, and then he goes 666, and he's like, okay, go ahead.
What does John Wilkes Booth say there? He says something in like Latin.
Sic semper tyrannis, which is what John Wilkes Booth said before he shot Lincoln.
What does it mean?
And it means thus always to tyrants.
Oh.
Because when racist people don't like somebody, they just call them tyrants, or like they're acting like a king, like, because they can't admit that they're racist.
That's really dumb as fuck.
But in real life, John Wilkes Booth does say that, but then he leapt from the balcony onto the stage, broke his fucking leg, and still managed to escape.
Right after he shot him?
Yeah, like,
he
what a fail.
jumped off of the balcony.
He jumped off the balcony
to
onto
the stage.
Broke his leg and still managed to get away.
I had no idea that he did that.
He was on the run for like a week.
What?
Yeah, and then they like caught him in a barn, and then they like smoked out and burned the barn. Like, it was gnarly.
What the
It
fuck?
was really gnarly. It's not a good way to go.
That is why I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome.
I had no fucking clue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But I did like how they put that little historical nugget in.
Mm-hmm.
And the play was accurate. My Fair Lady. That was the play he was singing. Or not My Fair Lady. My sister. My American cousin.
My American cousin.
My American cousin.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, that was a nice little historical tidbit. So that wish goes by very quickly.
He was definitely the fuggliest in that role.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like Abraham, like the pictures I've seen of him, he was very handsome.
I feel like you have gone out on a limb before. Have you said that on this podcast before, that you think Abraham Lincoln's hot?
I feel like I have. Or maybe I just said it in real
He
life.
just says it a lot. I mean, I disagree.
I don't know. I think he is attractive.
He even called himself ugly. Like, he had this...
We did have this conversation,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it was on the podcast.
Like, we'll repeat it in case it wasn't. But like, somebody called him two-faced in the papers, and they're like, "What do you have to say about that?" And he's like, "If I were two-faced, do you think I'd be wearing this face?
Amazing.
I'd wear the other one
That's sad.
because I'm fugly."
I don't think he's fugly, but I do think, unfortunately, Brendan Fraser as him was fugly, and that's the only time I've ever said that about our boy.
But I think if you met somebody who looked like Lincoln in real life and he was not famous, you had no context, I don't think you would think he's hot. I think you think Lincoln's hot because he like did some G shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as you know, I find a lot of people attractive. I don't know. There's something about his eyes that seem very honest and beautiful. But
Honest Abe, and he's tall as fuck, which I know you like.
yeah, I like them. I like short kings and queens too, but I do like a good tall daddy.
A tall bearded daddy.
Tall bearded zaddy who knows how to wear hats. That's the other thing. Not everyone can get away with hats. And
I do like how he doubled down on his height, and he's like, "I'm gonna make this bitch taller by wearing this big ass hat."
Even. How tall was he? Like 6'7"?
That's a good question. Let's look it up because I don't know how tall he was, but people generally were shorter too, so it's like.
Oh yeah, so he probably looked hella tall.
Right, Abraham Lincoln height, 6'4".
Dude,
yeah, 6'4" in the 1800s.
Dude, okay, let me just explain something to you. You know how earlier we were talking about tall people, and I was like, "What is he 6'4"? Mm-hmm. It's because people who are 6'4" for some reason always are into me.
Oh,
I do not know.
So
that
Abraham
is the exact
Lincoln
height.
would be
My first
into
boyfriend was 6'4", and quite a few people I've hooked up with are exactly 6'4". Like, it's really weird.
Wow.
So
I love the Nintendo 64.
There you go. 64.
All adding up.
Good year. Just kidding. I don't know anything about that year, but
Me
yeah.
neither.
What'd you say?
Me neither.
Okay. Well, yeah. So 6'4". Anyways, what's up, Abe?
So you're like, so he's pretty hot.
I do think he's attractive, but like, I'm not gonna like die on that hill. I don't think he's like the hottest president or anything, but he's hot. Yeah, you know.
So anyway, so after he almost gets fucking iced as Lincoln, he comes back and he's like, ugh, okay, 2 more wishes. And this is when the devil pulls out her like, no, you only have 1 more wish because of the Big Mac wish. And he's like, what the fuck?
He's like, that doesn't count.
All right. And he's like trying to fight. And he's like, I won't do it. And that's when, yeah, she does her Universal Studios treatment, becomes a big, hot, bikini-ass devil dangling him over the fire and is like, I will fucking ice you if you do not make your last wish. Mm-hmm. And that's when he makes a selfish wish for Allison. And he breaks out of the contract. Wait, when does he go to jail?
Okay, so here's...
I just realized there's this whole jail scene.
Yeah, so let's break that down. So basically, after the Abe Lincoln one, all of a sudden he's rushed back, and he's not with Homegirl. He goes into work. So that it's a brand new day.
Yeah, there's like a whole little sideshow.
He goes into work. His boss is like a dick to him. He's like, what the fuck? He goes to his desk, and then his coworkers... Or wait, no, that's later on when he kind of like owns his. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So he gets yelled at by his boss. Whatever. He turns on his computer, and then the devil pops up on his screen. She's like, "Hello," like almost like a cam girl, and he's like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here. There's work I have to do." And then she says, "You have 1 wish left," and he's like, "No, I have 2." And she's like, no, you don't. What about the Big Mac? And he's just like, that doesn't count. And so he's like yelling at this computer. And from everyone else's perspective, he's just like yelling at a blank computer and looks, you know,
and
not
honestly,
well.
Given what we've seen from the opening scenes, I'd be very concerned about a workplace shooter.
Yeah. Genuinely.
Like, this was pre-mass shootings, like, every day. But now, in the lens of a post-mass shooting everyday world, I'm like, yo, this guy's gonna kill you all.
Yeah, like, we need to be real careful.
This isn't funny. This is alarming.
Yeah. So then he leaves out of anger, and he goes to talk to a priest because he realizes, like, he's like, okay, I've been dealing with the devil. I don't like the way that she's handling things. Like, I'm desperate. Let me go to a church and, like, try to talk to a priest. So a priest comes over to him and is like, hey, there's nothing you can say that I won't understand. You know, being like a fake ass priest, like usual.
Ooh, shots fired. And Shea's Catholic, so she can say this.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Or I used to be. Anyway. And so, so the priest's like, I won't judge you, blah, blah, blah. And then basically the next thing you know, he's being carried out by 2 coppers. Because
yeah,
he's like,
this fucking priest went to the cops.
yeah. Fucking ACAB, bruh. What is wrong with you?
Snitch.
So then they say he's drunk and disorderly, which is like, you didn't even test him. He's fucking sober as shit. What is wrong with you? So when he talks to like a sergeant when he's at the police station or whatever, and the sergeant's like, no, you're fucking going in a holding cell tonight. So the cop that's holding on to him is the devil.
And he's like, no, she's the devil.
And she basically tells him, like, I wouldn't fucking ignore me if I were you. And let's just say, worst case scenario, you do go to hell because you will make that last wish and I will have your soul. You want me as a friend, homie. So she puts him in a cell.
Yeah, and it's very sexy because she like has him up against the bars and she's like, it wouldn't hurt to have a friend like me. And then she like
kissing his ear and shit.
And you're like, oh.
It's so hot. She's so fucking hot. So anyway, then he gets put in a cell and he's just like, fuck my life. And then his cellmate is like, that cop is the devil.
And he's like, oh.
And he's like, yeah, I guess. Really and he has this like really sweet and short conversation with this guy who basically kind of enlightens him a little bit of, you know, the goings on of what's happening. And then Elliot's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm just a friend. I'm just a good friend. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of like, something's going on here, but you never really find out what's happening there. And then he gets released then I guess the next day. Mm-hmm. And he walks out. He's just like doesn't he just go on a big walk? Oh, and he goes back to her club. Mm-hmm. And then once he goes inside, he realizes it's not all party central, happy, like everyone knows his name, it's cheers up in here. He goes in and kind of like everyone is, you know, elderly and like not,
the shine is worn off.
Definitely. So then she calls him back in her office, and that's when he's like, I'm not making my last wish and there's nothing you can do to make me do it. So then that's when she puts on the whole Universal Studios bit and transforms into like the giant fucking monster devil that you see in all these cartoons. And she's like about to stab him with a fucking like pitchfork, and he's just like, wait, yeah, I'll make a wish. And that's when he wishes for Allison to be happy. And then she's like, fuck. And then they go back to real life, and that's when she tells him, like, you made an unselfish wish, so you're freed from the contract.
It's amazing that like nobody apparently wishes to like end world hunger or like reverse global warming or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be rich.
Yeah,
like, you have 7.
I know.
Selfish ass
bitches. But yeah, so then he's just like, all right, cool. So then he goes into work and he sees Allison, and he's a fucking normal person doing what he should have done from the beginning.
Yeah, like literal years ago.
And he like just says like, hey, Allison, hey, like, I don't know if you remember me. We talked a few times, but anyway, I just think you're a really interesting person. You seem cool. I don't know you, but I like, here, he says, you know what? I don't know you, but maybe if we get to know each other, we could hit it off. So would you like to go out with me? You know, perfectly totally acceptable. Normal. And she says, oh, well, I'm actually seeing someone. And then he's like, of course you are. And so she walks away and he accepts it. And then that's when he fucking owns his coworkers that were mean to him.
Yeah, one of the coworkers is real foul and comes up being like, hey, Elliot, like totally making fun of him.
Yeah.
And Elliot just turns around and snatches him up by his little collar and is like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he
and the guy's like,
says,
oh!
Yeah. I can't remember what he says there, but it's awesome.
He literally just like shakes him and looks at him intensely, and then the guy's like,
he's just like, have a good day. And he's just like, fuck.
He's like, oh god.
Yeah. And then he's I think he bikes home from work, and it's like such a weird scene because they live in San Francisco, and he's literally biking upward like on one of those fucking hills that I couldn't even walk
Well,
up.
according to IMDb's trivia page,
Yeah.
they had to like pull him up with a crane, and then they just like erase it in post because like it is not possible to ride your bike up some of those hills.
Dude, it's not even possible for me to walk up those fucking hills. That's on God. Like,
Break your fucking ankles.
it's rough. It is so rough.
So that was a little bit of movie magic.
Yeah. And then he like is about to go in his building, and he sees a bunch of boxes, and the girl comes down, and she looks exactly like fucking Allison, except with short brown curly hair.
And she's like way more quirky.
Way more quirky. She, talks a mile a minute, and she seems really interested in him, and she's like, hey, can you give me a hand? And he's just like, yeah. And immediately he's like, and I can cook you dinner so you don't have to cook. And
He's so nice. And there's also this little like subplot because in the beginning he's like wants to nerd out about speakers with everybody, and then this ending scene he notices she has some cool speakers, and he's like, oh my god, are those the whatever speakers? And she's like, yeah, they're the best. You're like, oh my god, they both love speakers.
yeah, and he's like, I'll set them up for you, and then I'll make you dinner, and it's just very sweet. It's like, yeah, you guys are actually compatible, and like you're actually
making a real
learning that instead of like being in love with someone that
Being a creepy ass
you don't know
stalker
dick
based
about.
on looks.
right.
But like I was saying, it was such a common trope in the 90s and 2000s. This premise that men could genuinely fall on women based solely on their looks and nothing else, and love them.
In love
Like, ugh,
with people based on nothing,
nothing.
like absolutely nothing.
I was like, you don't love her, you want to fuck her.
I feel like I still know some men that are like that, who are not like homies of mine necessarily, but people who feel like they're like, no, I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm like, how the
Like, you
don't know her,
you want
bitch.
to bang her.
Yeah.
That is what you want.
What is wrong with you? Just but and then at the very end you see the two of them like kind of walking arm in arm, and they're like cute, and then you see the devil and his cellmate, and they're both wearing white, and they're playing chess together,
So you're like, oh, what is this?
which is interesting. And I truly believe his cellmate was his guardian angel, and the devil's a little bit, I don't know, like when I was a kid I used to think like maybe she was God, and like it was her way of teaching him this like life lesson. But maybe she is the devil and she's teaching him a life lesson. And it's kind of,
I always thought she was the devil and that guy was God.
I did think that too, but I think I read a comment somewhere that said that he was an angel. Like the director commentary said he's an angel, and his real name in real life is Gabriel.
Ah,
So.
famous angel.
Yep. So kind of makes sense, but that would be cool if it was like the devil and God playing chess together, because that would make so much sense. But yeah, and that's how the movie ends.
Good ass movie.
It's so good.
Even some of the concepts are a little dated. It's still very funny.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser shines. I feel like Brendan Fraser is able to just project such a likable, positive energy, even when his character is doing like kind of shitty things.
Yeah, like even in The Mummy, where he's like a little bit questionable in general, he's still so charming, and like you want to be on his side. Like you're like, no, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to Elizabeth Hurley after this movie? Because I feel like she kind of dropped off.
I don't know what happened to her. I have only seen her in that and Austin Powers, of course.
Yeah, I feel like
1
she
and
was
2.
everywhere for a while, and then nothing.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in anything. Isn't she married to Hugh Grant or whatever?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess she's like trying to make a comeback, but
I believe in her. I think she can do it.
I think she
they
had a
need
partner who died.
Oh, that might be why she kind of dropped off for a while.
That could totally be it.
I guess it wasn't Hugh Grant, because isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's still living.
Well, no, this is recent, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Sad.
Don't know.
All right. Well, good luck to Elizabeth Hurley. I believe in her. She was so good in this movie, and she's also great in Austin Powers, and those are the only things I've seen her in. So,
same.
Therefore, she's a great actress, and we love to see it.
Yeah, I think I was like, obviously, Austin Powers came out earlier, and I thought she was gorgeous. And then when this movie came out, I was like, oh, I think she was like my first person, like as a kid. I was like, this is like what a sexy adult woman is.
Oh, totally.
Like, this is it.
Yeah. I was very confused by my feelings when she like came out in this movie, and I was like,
You're
like drooling,
I
like,
love them all.
why do I feel this way? But like, no, gay. All right, so I got trivia pulled up, my darling.
Love trivia.
You're gonna kill it because I did like the easiest shit ever. Not that you wouldn't kill it
yes.
anyway.
Love that bar being low.
Okay, here we go. What is the woman's name who Elliot has a crush on?
Allison.
Yes. And what is the devil doing when she's first shown in the movie?
She's playing pool.
Yes. And in the second wish, who does Allison want?
Like, at the end, like the jockey guys?
No. Like the technical second wish.
Oh, so the first wish.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Which is that he's rich and powerful. She wants the Raoul.
Yes, exactly. And what makes Elliot cry in Wish 3?
The sunset.
Yes.
I don't know what that damn thing said.
And what role does Allison play in Elliot's wish to be a basketball player?
She's the reporter.
Yes. With whom does Elliot end up with at the end of the movie?
I don't know her name, but neighbor lady.
Nicole. Or
Nicole.
Nikki? Yeah, Nicole, Nikki.
Oh, yeah, Nikki.
Yeah.
She has the whole joke.
And lastly, what does Elliot do when he wants to be out of a wish?
He has to dial 666 into the pager.
Beautiful. All right, perf.
Nailed
it. 100%.
Bam, 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 bam.
And then I have the personality quiz up. It's on BuzzFeed, you guys. And it is called,
It's iconic.
which Brendan Fraser character in Bedazzled are you based on the pizza you order?
This is right up our alley.
This is literally us into a quiz. Okay, here we go. Pick a crust. Regular, thin, thick, deep dish, gluten-free, or whole grain.
Thick.
Thick. Pick a cheese. Mozzarella, cheddar, mozzarella and cheddar, mozzarella and feta, mozzarella and goat cheese, or mozzarella and blue cheese.
Ooh, mozzarella and goat cheese. If you just choose cheddar, I'm sorry, you're a psychopath.
Psychopath.
Like just cheddar? No.
Mozzarella and goat cheese, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's mine too. I love goat cheese.
So fucking good.
Pick a topping. Pepperoni, ham, steak, bacon, anchovies, or none.
Just to go on about the cheese question, it should be ricotta on there.
Interesting. I've never tried ricotta on a pizza, I don't believe.
I bet you have. It's pretty popular.
Well, like ricotta?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but back to the question of the meats.
Yeah. Pepperoni, ham, steak, bacon, anchovies, or none.
It's boring, but pep.
It's not boring. It's classic. I love pepperoni. You and I are picking like exactly the same shit.
Yeah.
All right, pick a topping. Mushrooms, pineapple, spinach, tomato, extra cheese.
Extra cheese.
Yes, baby. Pick another topping. Green peppers, jalapenos, olives, onions, red peppers, none.
Jalapeno.
You and I are picking the same fucking pizza. Pick one more topping. Roasted garlic, broccoli, artichokes, hot banana peppers, more cheese, or none.
Garlic.
The same.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then this will be a short quiz
Yep.
session.
Anything else? Well done, lightly done, extra sauce, easy on the sauce, more cheese, or no thank you.
Oh, no thank you. I think I'm good.
Yep. Superstar athlete, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go into any explanation,
Oh,
but
it's just like, that's him.
which is cool with
Give
me
it
because
110%.
he's give
You want to play
110%.
well. You hope you play well. I think we played pretty well.
I think we played pretty good tonight. You and I on this episode, baby.
Wow.
All right. Well,
And you wouldn't change a thing, so you're also a superstar athlete.
Aw, thank you so much. No, everything Stacy said, I was like, thick crust, more cheese. Everything you said, I was like, literally exactly. Usually you and I have very different answers for most stuff.
Not this shit.
Hee hee.
Like, even today, I messaged Shay. I was like, yo, the Village Pub by my house.
Oh my God.
For $14.99, you can get a fucking bomb-ass 10-ounce steak, garlic green beans, mashed potatoes, and a fucking house salad. Are you kidding me?
We need to go.
It is, and it was good. I got it medium rare, and it was medium rare.
Medium rare is the way I get my steak too.
Good,
of course. Do you get sauce on the side for your steak?
It depends. If it already has its own like sexy sauce or butter on top, then no. This one I did because it didn't have any accoutrement. So yeah, I threw some A1 on that bitch.
I love A1 too on my steak.
Yes, we have to go.
We're such Gorgy wives. I love being married to my wife. And it's just such a good movie, and I'm so glad it's one of Stacy's faves too, because
Absolutely.
It's another one of our shared childhood movies that we love, which just is the coolest. But
so if you haven't seen it, we hope you enjoyed this. I think we did a pretty good job recapping this bitch.
Hell yeah, we deep dove, we did it up.
Yeah, so
as always.
We'll see you on the next one. I mean, sadly, this is it for Brendan Falger.
I was gonna say we should do a Brendan Falger outro real quick.
Ooh, okay.
We love you, Brendan Falger. I wish we had like a planned song.
Brendan Falger, you are so beautiful. Your hair is sandy brown. Take it away.
No, but maybe we should try to do Brendan Falger every year.
I would love that.
We might stop at like year 2.5, but you know,
again,
I don't know how many more. There were a couple movies that we didn't get to do.
Yeah, like Encino Man and Airheads and
there's a couple more that I have been made aware of that I didn't know about before. So yeah, I think we have a couple more years of good Brendan Falgers left, but we hope that you guys enjoyed the first Brendan Falger.
First annual Brendan Falger. And I bet you all can guess the theme of next month's films.
It's gonna be October. Ooh. And we have some good ones planned for y'all. So yeah, thank you guys so much. We love you so much, as you all should know that, but I'll of course always remind you, we love you so much, and we thank you for listening.
It's true. So you have a great night.
Have a lovely morning, a lovely evening, afternoon, and night, and stay safe.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you to our producer Brent for his editing skills, and to Grady for our delightful theme song.
If you have questions for us or would like to advertise with us, please email us at blockbusterwives@gmail.com.
And as always, please rate, subscribe, and tell all your friends about us.
We love you.